Stone circles?
This is like a sun calendar. Nom nom.
Barnaby's clock stopped. Not in a dramatic way, it just stopped. The little hand and the big hand froze, like they'd given up.
No! What time is it?
Stella checked the position of the sun. Too high to be morning, too low to be noon, somewhere in between. Pip consulted his pattern detector, not useful without a pattern to measure. Luna looked at the stars. Wrong. It was daytime, obviously. And Shelley sat very still and said nothing, which was her way of saying,
Time is meaningless, Barnaby.
But it wasn't meaningless. Barnaby needed to know if it was breakfast time, lunchtime, or Barnaby is too hungry to think time.
There has to be a way. How did people know the time before clocks? Huh?
That afternoon, Barnaby did what Barnaby did best. He cooked. He mixed ingredients. He stirred pots. He tasted things, carefully. Last time he'd tasted while cooking, he burned his tongue and his eyebrows.
Ouch.
But as he cooked, he noticed something strange. His shadow was moving. He looked at the sun. He looked at the ground. He looked at his own body blocking the light.
The shadow changes with the sun,
he murmured. He grabbed a stick and a rock. He stuck the stick in the ground and marked where the shadow fell. At 2 p.m., the shadow pointed to the rock. At 3 p.m., the shadow had moved. It pointed to the flower. At 4 p.m., the shadow had moved again. It pointed to the anthill.
It's like a clock, a shadow clock. The sun moves, the shadow moves. I can read it.
He ran to get everyone.
Look, the shadow moves as the sun moves. At noon, the shadow is the shortest because the sun is the highest. In the morning, the shadow is long and points west. In the afternoon, the shadow is long and points east.
A sundial! Barnaby, that's brilliant! Ancient people built entire stone circles just to track the sun's shadow.
Oh, wow.
Stone circles? I want to build a stone circle. Oh, yeah. You literally just need a stick in the ground. But I bet I could make it more accurate.
Soon, the meadow was covered in Barnaby's shadow experiments. He marked the ground every hour. By sunset, he had a complete map, a full circle of shadow positions traced in the dirt.
This is like a sun calendar. I can tell what time it is just by looking at where my shadow is.
But what about night? The sun goes away at night. Then what?
Everyone went quiet.
The stars. Ancient people used the stars the same way we use the sun. They noticed certain stars appeared at certain times. If you watched the night sky every night, you could build a star clock. See those 7 stars? That's the Big Dipper. Ancient people called it by different names, but they all noticed it. And it moves across the sky just like the sun, because the Earth is turning.
The whole sky is a clock. The sun during the day, the stars at night, the moon every month.
And water! You can fill a bowl with water and make a tiny hole. The water drips out at the same rate every time. Count the drips, you know how much time has passed. A water clock. They used those in ancient Egypt. Aha! And candles! You can mark a candle into sections. When the flame burns down to the next mark, you know an hour passed.
I don't need this thing anymore. I have the whole universe telling me the time. I'm gonna call it late morning because the shadow is long and pointing southeast.
You're gonna be hungry in about 40 minutes.
Shelley, that was a time prediction.
I didn't say it was a good prediction.
Nom nom.
As Barnaby put breakfast on the table, he thought about all the people throughout history who'd measured time without any of their modern tools. Ancient farmers who planted crops by the stars, Egyptian builders who tracked shadows to construct the pyramids, indigenous sailors who navigated by the constellations, medieval monks who rang bells at exact hours because they'd measured the sun's arc for generations.
Time has been measured since the beginning of humanity. We just continued what everyone before us started. Every time I watch the sunrise, I'm doing what the very first humans did. Every time I watch my shadow, I'm using the same clock the ancient Egyptians built. My clock isn't broken. It never was. The whole sky is my clock. The whole earth is my clock. And as long as the sun rises, I have all the time in the world.
Time flies, whether you're watching or not, but watching makes it magical.
Before you go, try making your own shadow clock. 1. Find a sunny spot outside. 2. Stick a stick in the ground. 3. Mark where the shadow is every hour. 4. Watch the shadow move as the sun moves. Can you guess what time it is just by looking at your shadow? Comment below. What did you discover about shadows and time? Next time on HoloAnima Learns, Stella challenges Fuzzly to a hike, but Fuzzly realizes he can only use 4 senses on the mountain.